So normally this time of year, I'm writing product reviews about skis. This year I'm not that motivated to write. I thought it would be more fun to shoot some videos. We don't sell bikes.
Nope.
Got no stake in the game. This is just for fun. So it's just a practice review for bikes. Soon we'll start doing ski reviews, and we're going to need Gunner's help on the Matsu's review because he's been on next year's skis, camouflage. You want to introduce the bike? I think that's what it says here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the Mondraker F-Podium DC RR. It's Mondraker's cross-country race bike, and the DC stands for down country, which means that it's forked up and it has a dropper post to make it more capable going downhill.
We needed a race bike for you.
Yeah, we
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Because last year Gunner was sharing his mother's race bike, and this year, if there's any racing, they would be racing on course at the same time. I wanted a faster trail bike. We've been riding long travel bikes or longer travel bikes, and wanted something for faster rolling terrain, like Kingdom trails if they were ever to open up. Some of our local trails are not very technical and fast rolling, and something that was more rewarding to pedal for a long day so you could cover more ground. Back in January, when it looked like our business was going great and the future was rosy and there wasn't a pandemic, Amy said we could buy a bike, so we did, and this is what we bought. Basically, we're experts.
Yeah, basically. I mean, 15 minutes of Google searching and you can be a self-proclaimed expert these days, and that's what we are.
That's it, exactly. So we didn't test anything.
No.
We just
Bought it.
decided that this was the bike. So what was it about this bike that really sold us?
It was mainly the geometry, Dad. It was the fact that it had a steep enough seat tube angle that climbing would be good on it with a forked up build. It was the fact that we could get it forked up. And yeah, then the head tube angle was slack enough that it...
Real slack for a race bike.
Yeah, so that made it more capable downhill, and the reach number is long enough.
So basically, in terms of the geometry, it looked a lot like the bikes we were already riding or wanting to ride.
Yeah.
So bottom line is, we wanted something that was fast and rewarding to pedal uphill and then super fun to come down on and the Gunner could race on.
Yep.
And we picked the Mondraker.
Yeah, we did.
Mondraker as a company really pioneered some of the progressive geometry that's become super mainstream with their downhill bikes quite a while ago now. And they've brought that thinking to cross country. They released the F-Podium to the World Cup
Last year.
within the last couple of years. I guess it was being ridden 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Ride impressions. Gunnar, what did you think? You want to review your notes?
No, I remember my notes.
You remember them? I keep reviewing.
Yeah, okay. Well, I remember from my notes that the bike had, like, the suspension platform felt very stable, and it felt like there wasn't a whole lot of pedal bob, but it felt like it could still take up vibrations, and it felt light and fast. And then also on technical climbs, it felt super capable compared to most cross-country bikes. I think it has more traction as well with that rear suspension linkage than cross-country bikes I've tried in the past. Going downhill, it felt like it was a big enough bike to go downhill on, and not too big so that it felt absurd climbing. It felt like it put you in a really good position for hitting jumps and going over technical terrain.
So you're centered on the bike.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stability. You should be reviewing. I'm reviewing your notes and prompting you now.
Sorry.
Get with it. Read your notes. Take just a minute.
Yeah, it was stable at speed. It felt like...
Oh, stable at speed. Oh, you read that in the notes?
Yeah, it was stable at speed and it felt, just good at high speeds. And the suspension setup seemed pretty good. I didn't notice too much wrong with it, although I did remove a volume reducer because I felt like the fork was ramping up a little bit harshly at first.
So my impressions were pretty similar. First of all, it's fast, and fast is fun. It's really cool to be on a bike where you stomp on the pedals and you just go. Stop, what are you doing with my nose?
I'm looking at
I
the-
need my nose. In spite of really similar geometry to the bikes that we've been riding, the hand position is lower, the bar height is quite low, and it feels great for pedaling. It feels phenomenal for climbing, with the exception that it takes a little more oomph to loft the front end, to like wheelie onto obstacles and things like that. Having said that, the climbing traction is great, and the pedaling efficiency with the suspension open feels fantastic. In fact, it feels more smooth in most terrain, particularly pedaling at higher frequency with the suspension open than locked out. The locked out seems like it jacks a little bit. Only place I liked the lockout was grinding up steep stuff in a pretty big gear, particularly standing. That felt really good, but that's really the only place I would use it. Descending, I'm not as good a descender as you, or I'm not as confident a descender as you. I miss the side knobs from bigger tires. These Recon race tires are nice and fast rolling, and they're pretty burly for race tires, but they're not minions, and I definitely noticed that. The fork was diving a bit for me, but I rode it after Gunnar had pulled the volume spacer out, and the main thing is I really miss the runt from Diaz Suspension Designs. Anthony Diaz in Durango, Colorado invented a little secondary air chamber that drops into a bunch of forks. Secondary positive air that gives you a dynamic ramp support so that you can create a more linear spring curve with a really supple top end and a ton of mid-stroke support. And once you've ridden that, it's really hard to find a sweet spot on a fork without that kind of added value. Descending, the rear suspension did feel a little rough to me. It felt to me like we've got a lockout position and a trail mode, and we don't have a wide open descending mode. It feels like this wants to be a 3-position setup, and it's 2-position. I don't think that for fast riding, I would want to change the damper tune to be more active, because I think it would take away from the pedaling efficiency. But it might be nice to have a 3-position damper instead of 2-position. Okay, it's a size small. Neither of us are particularly large. I'm 145 pounds and 5'7".
Yeah, I'm 93 pounds and 4 foot 15 inches.
And the bike works well for both of us.
Yeah.
I would like a longer dropper. We have to see if we can get a 125 mil dropper on that will go low enough for Gunner's stubby little legs. And aside from that, this thing's
Pretty good.
pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna ride it a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
All right. Okay, I think that's it. Anything else?
Um,